Well, ladies and gentlemen, we finally made it to the legendary Australian band known as ACDC, and we're going to be reacting to one of their most underrated albums of all time, and that is Fly on the Wall, released in 1985. The very first time I heard this album, there was no question that the songwriting, their performances, and the attitude on this record is just as amazing as the Highway to Hell album or Back in Black. Every song on this record is a home run, which always confused me to the fact that when fans or critics gave their own opinion on the record, it was mostly shunned and received an enormous display of negative reviews, which left me perplexed because at first listen, it was nothing short of badass rock and roll. This easily beats Flick of the Switch, released in 1983, their 1988 album Heat Seeker, the Razor's Edge album. This album, Fly on the Wall, I believe is the last ACDC record where they had the benefit of their youth, their skills in their instruments, vocally as well, and attitude recorded on tape. Of course, their natural peak probably was within the Razor's Edge era, where even Brian Johnson was sounding at his best. But in terms of the songwriting quality, as well as the live performance, that I believe that was within the last year where everything went hand in hand. We're gonna dive into the first track of the record, which is the title track. Let's revisit this gem of a song and let's see if it still holds up as a classic AC/DC rocker. Here we go.
Hey, come on, everybody.
Got a great group for you tonight. So why don't you put your hands together and give us a great big crystal ballroom welcome for... What's the name of the group again, you guys? ACDC. What's that, an electrical company or something? Hey, just kidding, fellas. Come on, let's hear it for them.
I believe this was the first video that they decided to release for MTV. This video, as cheesy as it is, it's still equally as entertaining. And it's such a creative idea that they're playing as a club band. This song is just as tough as any of their early material. I always enjoyed their presence. They almost look like an army ready for battle, just the way that they're placed on the stage. With Brian Johnson, being the captain of the ship, so to speak. You have Angus as the band's weapon, and then you have the rest of the rhythm section, Malcolm Young, Cliff Williams, and Simon Wright as the driving force, the engine that keeps the heart of rock and roll running throughout this band and this song. As I said before, this was quite a unique way to display the band in their first MTV style promotion. And even in all its outdated features and concepts, it still remains as a very unique and entertaining watch as well. We're even getting introduced to certain characters in the film. There's the ever-spying paparazzi cameraman. We have the supposed manager of the joint introducing the band. We have the lady working behind the kitchen. We're getting introduced to a couple walking in the joint. And although we never hear what they have to say, we get to know them just by how they're reacting throughout the night as the band plays on. In terms of the song, this is one great way to start an album, and better yet, to start a concert. You can imagine that this must have been quite an opener back in 1985. It's good that ACDC always, ever since Back in Black, no matter what albums they've come out with, they always were a popular act and always sold out in any arena or stadium that they ever went to. So I'm glad that their popularity never waned in terms of a live act, but it's disappointing to see that this album didn't get the credit that it deserves for being a bombastic, sonic pounding rock and roll album from beginning to end, and we're only in the first track. Let's finish this off. You know that whole bar will be completely packed when in real life if they were to present that song again. Ironically enough, this was the last album before Brian Johnson's voice actually started to sound different. This was the last record where he still had that Back in Black era style voice, but literally just 2 years after the fact, or 3, because the album was released in 1988, he sounds drastically different. He now's starting that late 80s, early 90s Brian Johnson style voice. I like how his voice sounds in that era as well, especially in the live setting. During the Donington performance or the Razor's Edge tour, his voice was electrifying. One of the best rock and roll voices of that time, absolutely. Trust me, ladies and gentlemen, the following songs that are coming up are equally, if not some of them, are just better than the title track. And the title track is already awesome. So imagine what you're in for. Let me know if you share the same opinions that I do. Or maybe you can give your reasons maybe why this album doesn't really shine a light on you, so to speak. For me, this album shines bright. It's up there with Back in Black. It's up there with Highway to Hell. No doubt about it. Until next time, for more ACDC, we'll see you around.